Is everybody taking their afternoon nap on Sunday? That's what I just got finished doing. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. There were some things that I wanted to share with you guys I've had on my heart for a while. So I decided there's no better time than the present than to go ahead and share that with you. Not too long ago, I went to a banquet and the keynote speaker told a story, and it's from the Bible. Now, I'm not going to preach to you today, but I do want to read a couple scriptures because it's really pertinent to what I wanted to share with you today. But it comes from Matthew 14. It starts at verse 22. So I'm just going to read a little bit, and I'll tell you kind of what it means to me and for what I'm doing now. So this is a story where Jesus walks on water, which is pretty amazing. Starting at verse 22, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up to the mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it is you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. Now, when you think about this passage, it's easy to see the message that Jesus is trying to show, that no matter how stormy the waters are, no matter how hard life is, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. That's one that we can see easily. But I kind of wanted to think about, in regards to Peter, how he, thinking about how Peter sat in that boat, and that's kind of like his comfort zone. And Jesus was like, look, you've got to trust yourself, you've got to trust me, and you've got to get out of that boat. Well, when you think about what Peter did, he stepped out of that boat and he took a risk and he was able to walk on water, which was pretty amazing. So when you think about that in regards to your life, excuse me, and I've been thinking about this for weeks after I heard this story in regards to my life, that boat is your comfort zone. You know, what are you doing every day to take a risk? Whether it be with your career, your family, your health, your fitness, just your life in general. What are you doing to take a risk? Because you know what? Nothing great ever came from your comfort zone. You know, everything is good where you are, but we want to be better than that. We want to be great. So Peter took that risk and he was able to walk on water, which is pretty powerful because not only did he trust himself, but he had to trust Jesus. Even though Jesus was there telling him, and sometimes Jesus is telling us things too, but it's really hard to see it. So we've got to trust Jesus and ourselves. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, you know, we all have to take those risks. If we want something out of life, you need to take those risks no matter if you're thinking you're going to fail or not. So this week I challenge you to trust yourself, trust Jesus, and get out of the boat.